Hi, welcome to Follow the Reader, a mini video series in which I interview a member of our community to share our thoughts on books, reading, and libraries. My name is Karen Leahy, and I'm the Digital Services Librarian at the South Kingstown Public Library. Today, I'm joined by Mary Ann Comstock. How are you today, Mary Ann?
I'm very well, thank you.
Could you tell us about your job with the South Kingstown Library?
Sure. I am the branch librarian at both the Kingston Free Library and the Robert Beverly Hale Library. And I travel between the two, making sure things go right as much as I can.
Yes, that's great. Now, what are you reading right now?
Right now, I'm listening to variously described as either number 9 or number 10 of a series called The Laundry Files,
Okay.
By Charles Stross. He lives in Scotland, but I think he's a British sci-fi writer.
Okay.
And the book is not available in the library system as a book itself, but it was available as an audiobook on Hoopla. So that's what I'm listening to right now. So I'm on, I think it's number 9, but I'm looking at his website and he's calling it number 10. But he also calls it a new spin-off series, which is because The Laundry, which is what the series was called, The Laundry Files, no longer exists in the universe that he's created.
Okay.
So it's a new spin-off series and a new starting point with all new characters, some left over from the last book when things went really awry in the universe that he created, which is very similar to ours. And a lot of times the things that he's written in his books have actually been really close to what is normal for politics in the UK. So he just makes it a little funnier and a little odd. And it's a lot of Lovecraftian type references, a lot of Cthulhu references, the deep ones. But he also includes, there's vampires, there's all kinds of people in his universe, which is something that I enjoy reading.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Yeah. So that's the one I'm listening to right now. I was very happy to find it on Hoopla.
Great. And do you have a favorite book you've read recently?
Another one, which, and like, I don't actually usually listen to books, but one that I listened to, and I believe this one was a Libby book, on a trip to New York that really just kept me going. And I do have that one, which, people probably have seen quite a bit of around, the Killers of the Flower Moon, which is a nonfiction about a tribe that it just had lots of people being murdered in the tribe for the money that the tribe was earning for their oil rights, and just what a horrible experience, and just the way our government treated natives.
Yes, I actually just finished that one too.
Mm-hmm. But it's a fascinating, and I'm actually kind of sad that I listened to it, because when I'm looking at the book itself, there's pictures in the book. I'm like, oh, that really would have been helpful. So one of the drawbacks for
I listened to it too, so I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but that's the way it goes. And when you travel, you need to have something to keep your mind going when you're driving. So
yeah,
that was a good one.
Okay. Now, are you the type of person who uses a real bookmark, a found bookmark? What do you use to keep your place?
Whatever I can find. It's generally, I have a couple of bookmarks. I know someone who used to work at the library gave me one of Old Faithful, which is kind of nice when I can find it in my house. But generally it's, if I'm flipping through a magazine and you find the cards that fall out of the magazine, that's generally what I use.
Okay.
Or just a scrap from somewhere, but just, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite reading snack or drink?
Probably tea, but I also feel, if I'm sitting with a book I don't want to be distracted from either one. So, I kind of want to enjoy my tea, and I also want to enjoy my book. And I also have been known to spill quite a bit. And so I try not to drink or eat when I'm reading, because I'm just going to make a mess.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that. And I actually, yes, I had to pay for a fairly new book that was in my way. And when I knocked my cup of tea, I ruined another library's book. So
no.
Unfortunately, I did have to then pay for said book because I made a mess, and I know I'm going to do it. So no, I try not to eat or drink when I'm reading.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite place to read?
I like it to be nice and bright. So if it is not super duper hot outside, I will sit outside. Sometimes I have a sort of a little breezeway porch, and that gives me a little protection from the sun, but it's still kind of bright. So those are kind of my favorite places to be.
Nice. And what do you love about libraries?
Wow, there's so much. I think that when I think back to what kind of inspired me, and I remember my mom used to take us all the time, as we lived close to a library in Cranston, and we could walk, and it was between my house and where I went to school. So it was within walking distance, but my mother took us, and she always had one of those plastic shopping bags that all the library books lived in, so that they stayed in the right spot and they went back. But I also just had such a positive experience in that library growing up. And I remember the librarian at the time saying, well, if you like that, you might like this. And just a completely random, odd book, The Crying of Lot 49 by Thomas Pynchon, for, like a 12-year-old or whatever. I think it kind of set me on a path of not reading generally what other people read. And I always think back to that, like, one random recommendation that sets you on a different path. And I think, I've had people say that to me in the library, that they like coming in and listening to what others are saying. So it's that community that they don't have to interfere, but if they feel like they want to communicate with the person, that they feel comfortable in the space, then they can do that. And that also, especially at the Kingston Library, what a variety of cultures that we see come through there, that it's always interesting. And I think people would just really enjoy the space, and that we have that ability to, you don't have to commit. You can just come in and listen around, or, talk to the people that are in there and have a generally positive experience, and then go if you need to. And I think it's just a welcoming space and a good community resource.
Yeah, definitely. So you already kind of touched on this a little bit, but do you have any special memory of a specific library you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I do. And this is a really weird one, because it doesn't really anything to do with the actual library itself. Okay. But where I went to college, the library had this weird room that was sort of under the stacks, but between sort of a meeting room. And it was a place where you could go and just hang out. So you could eat there. You could, if I remember correctly, you could smoke cigarettes in there.
Okay.
Because, I'm old now. So these things were things that you could do in public. And it just was a place where you could just meet up with people, and you didn't have to be quiet. And so I just remember going there and hanging out with friends. And I had a lot of friends from Puerto Rico, where I went to college. And what we would do is sort of correct each other's homework. So my Spanish homework they would help me with, and I would help them with their English. Yeah. And it was just a cool place to hang out in the library.
Nice. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those are all the questions I have for you today. Thank you for being on Follow the Reader today.
Thank you very much.
And we will see you all next time with another person. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.